Welcome to Code Your English, the home to learn and grow fast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Code Your English. I am very happy that you are here with me today. If you are listening to this podcast, it means you want to improve your English. And that already shows something important about you. It shows that you are serious. It shows that you care about your growth. So first of all, thank you for giving me your time. I truly appreciate it. Today, we are going to talk about something very powerful and very important in life. Our topic is, trust is everything. This is not only a topic for relationships. It is not only about love or friendship. Trust is part of our daily life. We use trust every single day, sometimes without even thinking about it. Let me ask you something simple. Have you ever trusted someone and felt very happy? Maybe you trusted a friend with a secret, and they protected it. Maybe you trusted a teacher, and they helped you grow. Maybe you trusted someone who supported you when you felt weak. When trust is respected, it makes us feel safe. It makes us feel calm. It makes us feel connected. Now let me ask you another question. Have you ever trusted someone and then felt hurt? Maybe someone broke a promise. Maybe someone lied to you. Maybe someone disappointed you. When trust is broken, the pain feels deep. It is not just about the action. It is about the feeling of betrayal. It is about losing that safe space with someone. Trust is part of every relationship in our life. It is in friendship. It is in family. It is in marriage. It is in business. It is even in small daily situations. When you enter a bus, you trust the driver. When you go to a doctor, you trust their knowledge. When you speak to someone, you trust that they will listen. Without trust, life becomes very difficult and stressful. In today's episode, we will understand trust in a simple and clear way. We will talk about what trust really means. We will talk about why it is so important. We will talk about what happens when trust is broken. And we will also talk about how to build trust in your life, step by step. Everything will be explained in easy words, so you can understand clearly and learn naturally. While you are listening, I want you to practice with me. Do not just listen silently. Pause the audio sometimes, repeat sentences, answer the questions out loud. Speak even if your English is not perfect. Remember, this is Code Your English. You are not only listening to ideas, you are building your English at the same time. So take a deep breath, relax your mind, and open your heart. Today, we are going to learn something important. Because in the end, trust is not just a word. Trust is the foundation of everything. What is trust? Now let us move deeper into our topic and understand one very important question. What is trust? Many people use this word every day, but not everyone really thinks about its meaning. Trust is a simple word, but it has a very deep meaning in our life. So let us explain it in very clear and easy English. Trust means feeling safe with someone. When you trust a person, you feel calm around them. You do not feel nervous. You do not feel afraid. You do not feel that you need to protect yourself. You feel relaxed because you believe that this person will not harm you. This feeling of safety is one of the strongest parts of trust. Without safety, trust cannot exist. Trust also means believing that someone will not hurt you on purpose. Of course, people can make mistakes. Nobody is perfect. But when you trust someone, you believe that even if they make a mistake, they do not want to damage you. You believe their heart is in a good place. You believe their intentions are clean. This belief is very important. Trust is not only about actions. It is also about intention. Trust also means depending on someone without fear. For example, when you depend on someone, you rely on them. You believe they will do what they promised. You believe they will support you when needed. And you do not feel afraid that they will suddenly leave or disappoint you. Depending on someone without fear is a powerful thing. It creates stability in relationships. Let us look at some simple daily life examples to understand trust better. Imagine you have a close friend. One day you share a secret with them. It is something personal. It is something you do not want other people to know. When you tell your friend this secret, you are showing trust. You believe they will respect your privacy. You believe they will not tell others. If they keep your secret safe, your trust becomes stronger. But if they tell someone else, your trust becomes weaker. This simple situation shows how trust works. Now think about a teacher. When you join a class, you trust that the teacher will guide you correctly. You trust that they have knowledge. You trust that they want to help you learn. You follow their instructions because you believe they are leading you in the right direction. If the teacher gives wrong information or does not care about students, trust slowly disappears. But when the teacher is honest, prepared, and supportive, trust grows naturally. Let us take another simple example. When you enter a car, bus, or taxi, you trust the driver. You trust that they know how to drive. You trust that they will follow traffic rules. You trust that they will try to keep you safe. Think about this carefully. Every day, we trust many strangers without even thinking about it. Society works because of trust. If nobody trusted anyone, daily life would become full of fear and stress. Trust is also connected to consistency. Consistency means doing the same good behavior again and again. When someone is consistent, we start trusting them more. For example, if your friend always comes on time, you trust their promise about time. If someone always tells the truth, you trust their words. But if someone changes their behavior every day, it becomes difficult to trust them. Trust grows slowly through repeated positive actions. Another important part of trust is honesty. When people speak honestly, even when the truth is difficult, it builds trust. Sometimes the truth is not comfortable, sometimes it hurts a little. But honesty shows respect. It shows that you value the other person enough to be real with them. Lies, even small lies, slowly damage trust. A small lie may look harmless, but if it happens many times, people begin to doubt everything. Trust is also connected to vulnerability. Vulnerability means opening your heart. It means showing your real feelings. When you trust someone, you allow yourself to be vulnerable. You show your fears, your dreams, your weaknesses. This is not easy. It requires courage. But when the other person respects your vulnerability, the relationship becomes deeper and stronger. Now think about yourself. Do you trust easily, or do you find it difficult? Some people trust very quickly. Other people need more time. This often depends on past experiences. If someone has been hurt before, they may build walls around their heart. They may feel afraid to trust again. And that is normal. Trust takes time, especially after pain. At the same time, trust is not blind. Blind trust means trusting without thinking. Healthy trust is balanced. It means you observe actions. You listen to words. You give time. Trust should grow naturally. It should not be forced. So in simple words, trust means feeling safe, believing in good intentions, and depending on someone without fear. It is built slowly. It grows with honesty, consistency, and respect. And it can become very strong when both sides protect it carefully. As you listen to this, I want you to practice your English. Try to repeat this sentence. Trust means feeling safe with someone. Say it slowly. Then say, trust means believing someone will not hurt me. Practice speaking clearly. When you speak, you are not only learning about trust, you are building confidence in your English. Understanding trust clearly is the first step. When we know what trust really means, we can protect it better. We can build it better. And we can become people who deserve it. Why trust is everything. Now let us talk about something very important. Why do we say that trust is everything? Why is this small word so powerful? The answer is simple. Trust is the foundation of every strong relationship and every successful system in life. Without trust, everything becomes weak, unstable, and stressful. Think about any relationship in your life. It can be a friendship, a family relationship, a marriage, or even a work relationship. What makes that relationship strong? It is not only love. It is not only communication. It is not only time. The real foundation is trust. If trust is strong, the relationship can survive problems. If trust is weak, even small problems can destroy everything. Let us start with friendship. Imagine you have a close friend. You laugh together, you share stories, you support each other. But one day, you start to doubt them. Maybe they lie. Maybe they speak badly about you behind your back. Slowly, you stop sharing personal things. You become careful with your words. You protect yourself. The friendship becomes cold. Even if you still meet and talk, something feels different. That safe feeling is gone. Without trust, friendship becomes weak. It may continue on the outside, but inside it is empty. Now think about marriage or a romantic relationship. Love is beautiful, but love alone is not enough. If two people love each other but do not trust each other, they will always feel insecure. They will check phones. They will question every action. They will imagine negative things. This creates stress and fear. Love needs trust to grow. Trust gives love peace. When two people trust each other, they feel safe. They feel stable. They can grow together without constant fear. Trust is also very important in family. In a healthy family, children trust their parents. They believe their parents want the best for them. Parents trust their children to tell the truth and behave responsibly. If trust disappears in a family, communication becomes difficult. People start hiding things. They stop sharing their real feelings. The home no longer feels safe. Trust makes a family strong. It creates emotional security. Now, let us look at the workplace. At work, trust is extremely important. Imagine you are part of a team. Your manager gives you a task. Your teammates depend on you to finish your part. If you do your work honestly and on time, people trust you. The team becomes strong. But if someone does not do their job properly, or if they blame others for their mistakes, trust becomes weak. When trust is weak in a team, people stop cooperating. They start protecting themselves instead of helping each other. Teamwork becomes difficult and stressful. Trust is also very important in business. When you buy a product, you trust the company. You believe the product is safe. You believe the information is true. If a company lies to customers or sells low-quality products, customers lose trust. And when customers lose trust, the business slowly fails. That is why successful businesses protect their reputation carefully. Reputation is connected to trust. Even in society, trust plays a big role. Every day, we trust many systems. We trust doctors to give correct treatment. We trust schools to educate students. We trust banks to protect our money. We trust the government to create fair laws. If people lose trust in these systems, society becomes unstable. People feel angry and unsafe. Trust creates order and peace in society. Another important point is emotional safety. When trust exists, people feel free to express themselves. They feel free to speak honestly. They feel free to make mistakes and learn. But without trust, people hide their true thoughts. They become defensive. They avoid responsibility. This stops growth. Trust allows people to grow together. Trust is also connected to mental peace. When you trust someone, your mind feels calm. You do not overthink. You do not imagine negative situations. But when trust is missing, your mind becomes tired. You start thinking too much. You doubt small things. This creates anxiety. So trust is not only about relationships, it is also about your mental health. Let us imagine a simple situation at work. You finish your project and send it to your manager. If you trust your manager, you feel calm. Even if there are corrections, you believe the feedback is fair. But if you do not trust your manager, you may feel attacked or judged. The same action creates a different feeling because of trust. Now think about this sentence. Without trust, love cannot grow. Love needs safety. Love needs honesty. Love needs reliability. If someone says, "I love you," but breaks promises again and again, those words lose meaning. Actions build trust, and trust makes love real. That is why we say, trust is everything. It supports friendship. It protects marriage. It strengthens family. It improves teamwork. It builds successful businesses. It creates stable societies. It protects mental peace. Trust is like the invisible glue that holds everything together. Take a moment now and reflect. Think about one relationship in your life where trust is strong. How do you feel in that relationship? Probably calm. Probably safe. Now think about a relationship where trust is weak. How do you feel there? Maybe careful. Maybe stressed. This difference shows the power of trust clearly. As you listen, try to repeat this sentence. Trust makes relationships strong. Say it slowly. Then say, without trust, everything becomes difficult. Practice speaking clearly. Feel the meaning of the words. When we understand why trust is everything, we start valuing it more. We become more careful with our words. We become more responsible with our actions. Because once trust is broken, rebuilding it is not easy. That is why protecting trust is one of the most important responsibilities in life. The pain of broken trust. Now let us talk about something that many people experience, but do not always talk about openly. Let us talk about the pain of broken trust. Trust feels beautiful when it is strong, but when it breaks, it can hurt very deeply. The pain is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet, but very heavy inside the heart. So what happens when someone breaks our trust? First, something changes inside us. The safe feeling disappears. The comfort disappears. We begin to question things. We start thinking, was everything real? Or, did I misunderstand this person? Broken trust creates doubt, and doubt slowly creates distance. One of the first feelings people experience is sadness. You feel sad because you believed in someone. You opened your heart. You allowed yourself to be vulnerable. And then something happened that damaged that connection. The sadness comes from losing that emotional safety. It feels like losing something valuable. Another common feeling is anger. You may feel angry because you feel disrespected. You may think, how could they do this to me? Anger often hides deeper pain. When trust breaks, we feel that our kindness or openness was not protected. That can create strong frustration inside. Disappointment is also very powerful. Disappointment happens when reality does not match our expectations. When we trust someone, we expect honesty and loyalty. When they act differently, it feels like a shock. Disappointment is painful because it changes how we see that person. Confusion is another feeling that comes with broken trust. You may feel confused about what is true and what is false. You may replay conversations in your mind. You may question your own judgment. Why did I not see this before? Did I ignore signs? This confusion can make you feel mentally tired. But why does broken trust hurt so much? It hurts because trust is connected to safety. When trust is strong, we relax. We feel protected. When trust breaks, our mind feels danger. Even if the situation is not physically dangerous, emotionally it feels unsafe. Our heart feels exposed. It feels like standing in the rain without protection. Broken trust also hurts because it affects our future behavior. After someone hurts us, we may build walls. We may become more careful. We may stop sharing personal things. In some cases, we stop trusting new people easily. The pain does not only stay in the past, it influences the future. Let me tell you a short and simple story to make this clearer. Imagine a girl named Sarah. She has a close friend named Lena. They share everything. One day, Sarah tells Lena a personal secret. She trusts her completely. She believes Lena will keep it private. A few days later, Sarah notices that other classmates are acting differently. Some of them are whispering. Some of them are looking at her strangely. Slowly, she discovers that Lena told others about her secret. Sarah feels shocked. Her heart beats fast. She feels embarrassed and hurt. At first, Sarah feels sadness. She cannot understand why Lena did this. Then she feels anger. She thinks, I trusted her. I believed in her. After that, she feels confused. She wonders if their friendship was ever real. Even when Lena apologizes, something feels broken inside. The friendship may continue, but it is not the same as before. This simple story shows something important. The pain is not only about the secret, it is about the broken connection. It is about the broken safety. That is why broken trust hurts more than small mistakes. It touches something deeper. Sometimes people break trust in small ways. They break promises. They lie about small things. At first, these actions may look unimportant. But if they happen again and again, they slowly damage trust. Trust is like glass. It looks strong, but if it falls and breaks, you can see the cracks. Even if you try to fix it, the cracks may remain. However, it is also important to understand that feeling pain is normal. If you feel hurt when trust breaks, it means you are human. It means you care. It means you value honesty and connection. Pain is not weakness. It shows that your heart is alive. At the same time, broken trust can teach us important lessons. It can teach us to observe actions more carefully. It can teach us to communicate better. It can teach us to set boundaries. Pain is difficult, but sometimes it helps us grow. Now I want you to reflect for a moment. Have you ever experienced broken trust? How did you feel? Try to say your feelings in English. You can say, I felt sad. I felt angry. I felt confused. Practice speaking these simple sentences. This is how you improve your English and understand your emotions at the same time. The pain of broken trust is real. It can change relationships. It can change how we see people. But understanding this pain helps us become more careful and more mature. When we know how much it hurts, we also understand why protecting trust is so important. Why people break trust. Now let us move to a very important and sensitive question. Why do people break trust? When someone hurts us, it is easy to think that they are bad or evil. It is easy to feel anger and judge them quickly. But if we want to grow emotionally, we need to understand something deeper. Not everyone who breaks trust is evil. Sometimes people are not bad. Sometimes they are just weak, afraid, or immature. One common reason people break trust is fear. Fear can control human behavior in powerful ways. A person may lie because they are afraid of punishment. A person may hide the truth because they are afraid of losing someone. For example, imagine someone makes a mistake at work. Instead of admitting it, they lie because they are afraid of losing their job. Their lie breaks trust, but the main reason was fear. Fear does not excuse the action, but it helps us understand it better. Another reason is selfishness. Sometimes people think only about their own benefit. They do not think about how their actions will affect others. For example, someone may share a secret because it makes them feel important or interesting. They enjoy attention, so they forget about the pain they may cause. In that moment, their focus is on themselves, not on protecting the relationship. Selfishness often damages trust because trust requires care and responsibility. Weak character is another reason. Character means your inner strength and values. A person with strong character chooses honesty even when it is difficult. A person with weak character may choose the easy way instead of the right way. For example, telling the truth may create a problem today, but lying may look easier. A weak person may choose the lie to avoid short-term discomfort, but in the long term, this choice breaks trust and creates bigger problems. Lack of communication is also a common reason for broken trust. Sometimes people do not talk clearly about their feelings or expectations. They assume things instead of discussing them. Misunderstandings grow. For example, in a friendship, one person may expect loyalty in a certain situation, but the other person may not even realize this expectation exists. Because they never discussed it openly, one action can feel like betrayal. Clear communication helps protect trust. Immaturity is another important factor. Immature people often do not fully understand the consequences of their actions. They may act based on emotions without thinking carefully. For example, someone may say something private during an argument because they feel angry. Later, they regret it. But the damage is already done. Emotional maturity means controlling reactions and thinking before speaking. Without maturity, trust becomes fragile. Another reason people break trust is not thinking about consequences. Some actions happen quickly. People focus on the present moment and ignore the future impact. They may think, it is not a big deal, but small actions can have big effects. Trust usually breaks slowly, not suddenly. One small lie, one broken promise, one careless action, when repeated, slowly weakens the foundation. It is also important to understand that sometimes people break trust because they do not value the relationship in the same way. For one person, the relationship may be very important. For the other person, it may not be as serious. This difference in commitment can create imbalance. When values are different, trust becomes unstable. Now, here is something very important. Understanding the reasons behind broken trust does not mean accepting bad behavior. It does not mean you should ignore your pain. It simply means you are trying to see the situation clearly and calmly. Emotional intelligence means understanding emotions, both yours and other people's. It means asking, "Why did this happen?" instead of only saying, "This person is terrible." When we understand human weakness, we become wiser. We learn that people are imperfect. We also remember that we ourselves are imperfect. If we are honest, we may remember moments when we disappointed someone. Maybe we did not mean to hurt them, but we still did. This reflection makes us more humble. At the same time, we must protect ourselves. Understanding weakness does not mean allowing repeated disrespect. Trust can be broken once because of fear or immaturity. But if someone repeats the same harmful behavior again and again, it shows a pattern. Patterns are important. Emotional intelligence means observing patterns, not only listening to words. Let me ask you something for reflection. Have you ever broken someone's trust? Maybe in a small way. Maybe by not keeping a promise. Why did it happen? Was it fear? Was it selfishness? Was it immaturity? Try to answer honestly. You can say in simple English, "I broke trust because I was afraid." Or, "I did not think about the consequences." Speaking these sentences helps you grow and practice your English at the same time. When we understand why people break trust, we become more balanced. We stop seeing the world in black and white. We understand that humans are complex. Some people are bad intentionally, but many people are simply weak, confused, or immature. And weakness is different from evil. This understanding helps us make better decisions. It helps us decide when to forgive, when to give another chance, and when to step away. It helps us protect our heart without becoming cold or bitter. Trust is fragile because humans are imperfect. But understanding human weakness helps us handle broken trust with more wisdom and maturity. Trusting others versus trusting yourself. Now let us move to a very deep and powerful part of our topic. We talked about trusting other people. But there is another type of trust that is just as important. It is trusting yourself. Many people think about trust only in relationships. They think about friends, partners, family, or colleagues. But they forget something very important. If you do not trust yourself, life becomes very difficult. Trusting yourself means believing in your own decisions. It means believing that you can choose what is right for you. It means listening to your inner voice and respecting it. Self-trust is the foundation of confidence. Without self-trust, even if other people believe in you, you will still feel unsure inside. Sometimes we do not trust ourselves. We doubt our abilities. We doubt our thoughts. We doubt our choices. We ask other people for advice again and again, not because we want guidance, but because we are afraid to decide alone. When self-trust is weak, doubt becomes very strong. Let us look at a simple example connected to your English learning journey. Maybe sometimes you want to speak English, but a voice inside your mind says, "You are not good enough." You think, "What if I make a mistake? What if people laugh at me?" Because of this fear, you stay silent. This is not only fear of others. This is also lack of trust in yourself. You do not trust your ability to try. You do not trust your ability to improve. Now, imagine a different situation. You say, "My English is not perfect, but I am learning." You allow yourself to speak, even if you make mistakes. This is self-trust. You trust that mistakes are part of growth. You trust that with practice, you will improve. That small shift in thinking changes everything. Self-trust also affects daily decisions. For example, maybe you have to choose between two job opportunities. One looks safe, the other feels more exciting but uncertain. If you do not trust yourself, you may feel completely lost. You may ask 10 people for advice. Even after listening to everyone, you still feel confused. Why? Because you do not believe in your own judgment. When you trust yourself, you can listen to advice, but the final decision feels calm. Even if the result is not perfect, you say, "I made the best choice with the information I had." This attitude creates inner peace. Another common example is relationships. Sometimes we ignore red flags because we do not trust our feelings. Our intuition tells us something is wrong, but we say, "Maybe I am overthinking." When self-trust is weak, we ignore our inner signals. Later, we may regret it. It is important to understand something clearly. Self-trust does not mean thinking you are always right. It does not mean being arrogant. It means believing that you are capable of learning, growing, and correcting yourself. It means accepting that you may make mistakes, but you will handle them responsibly. If you do not trust yourself, you will always doubt. You will doubt your skills. You will doubt your decisions. You will doubt your relationships. This constant doubt creates stress and anxiety. It feels like walking on unstable ground. But when self-trust grows, you feel more stable inside. Even if life is uncertain, your inner foundation feels stronger. Now you may ask, how can I build self-trust? The answer is simple, but it requires patience. Self-trust is built slowly, just like trust with others. One important step is keeping small promises to yourself. For example, if you say, "I will practice English for 10 minutes today," then do it. When you keep your promise, your brain learns that your words are reliable. This builds inner respect. Another step is accepting mistakes without attacking yourself. When you make a mistake, do not say, "I am useless." Instead, say, "I am learning." Speak to yourself with kindness. The way you talk to yourself affects your self-trust deeply. Also, take small decisions daily without asking everyone for approval. Start with simple things. Choose what to eat. Choose what to read. Choose how to spend your free time. Trust your own choice. These small decisions strengthen your inner voice. Let me ask you something for reflection. Do you trust yourself? When you think about your future, do you believe you can handle challenges? Try to say this sentence slowly. I am learning to trust myself. Repeat it. Feel it. Even if you do not fully believe it yet, say it with intention. Trusting others is important, but trusting yourself is powerful. When you trust yourself, you do not depend completely on other people's opinions. You become emotionally stronger. You become calmer. You become more confident. And remember, self-trust does not appear in one day. It grows slowly. It grows through action, patience, and self-respect. Step by step, promise by promise, decision by decision, you build a stronger relationship with yourself. In the end, the most important relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself. If that relationship is strong, everything else becomes easier. How to build trust. Practical section. Now let us move to a very practical and important part of our topic. We have talked about what trust is, why it matters, and how it can be broken. But now the big question is this: how can we build trust? The good news is that trust is not magic. It is built step by step through simple actions. Small daily behaviors create strong trust over time. The first and most important step is honesty, even in small things. Many people think honesty is only important for big situations, but trust is often broken by small lies. For example, if you say, "I am on my way," but you are still at home, it may look like a small lie. But if you do this often, people will slowly stop believing your words. Honesty builds reliability. When your words match reality, people feel safe with you. Even when the truth is uncomfortable, speaking honestly shows respect. The second step is keeping your promises. A promise is not just a sentence, it is a commitment. When you say, "I will call you tomorrow," or "I will finish this work by Friday," you create an expectation. If you keep your promise, trust grows stronger. If you break it again and again, trust becomes weak. It is better to promise less and do more. Do not say yes to everything. Only promise what you can truly deliver. This shows responsibility. Being consistent is also very important. Consistency means your behavior is stable over time. One day you are kind, the next day you are cold. This confuses people. When your behavior changes too much, others feel uncertain. But when you are consistent, people know what to expect from you. They know your values. They know your attitude. This creates emotional safety. Trust grows when actions are repeated in a positive way. Clear communication is another powerful tool to build trust. Many problems happen because people do not explain themselves clearly. They assume others understand them. For example, if you feel upset about something but you stay silent, the other person may not know. Silence can create misunderstanding. But when you speak calmly and clearly, you reduce confusion. Saying simple sentences like, "I felt hurt when this happened," can protect trust. Communication should be respectful and honest. Admitting mistakes is also a strong sign of trustworthiness. Nobody is perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. But the difference is how we respond. If you try to hide your mistake or blame someone else, trust becomes weaker. But if you say, "I made a mistake, and I am sorry," you show maturity. Admitting mistakes shows courage. It shows that you value the relationship more than your ego. Surprisingly, sometimes trust becomes even stronger after a sincere apology. Respecting boundaries is another important part of building trust. Boundaries are personal limits. Every person has different comfort levels. Some people like sharing personal information. Others prefer privacy. If someone says they need space or time, respecting that request builds trust. Ignoring boundaries creates discomfort and fear. Trust grows when people feel their limits are respected. Another practical way to build trust is being present. When someone talks to you, give them your attention. Do not check your phone every minute. Do not interrupt. Listening carefully shows that you care. Feeling heard is a big part of trust. People trust those who make them feel understood. Patience is also necessary. Trust does not grow overnight. It takes time. Sometimes we want instant connection, but real trust requires repeated positive experiences. If someone is slow to trust you, do not get angry. Continue being honest and consistent. Over time, your actions will speak louder than words. It is also important to treat everyone with respect, even when you disagree. You can have different opinions without attacking someone. When you stay respectful during disagreement, People see your emotional strength. They learn that they can feel safe expressing their thoughts around you. Now think about your own life. Which of these actions do you already practice? Maybe you are honest. Maybe you keep your promises. Maybe you need to improve communication. Growth starts with awareness. You do not need to change everything in one day. Choose one small habit and improve it. For example, you can start with keeping small promises to yourself and others. Or you can practice saying, "I am sorry," when needed. Small improvements create big results over time. Try to repeat this sentence. Trust is built through small daily actions. Say it slowly. Then say, "I can build trust step by step." Feel the meaning of these words. Building trust is not complicated. It is about honesty, responsibility, consistency, clear communication, humility, and respect. These qualities not only improve relationships with others, but they also improve your relationship with yourself. When you become someone who protects trust carefully, people feel safe around you. And when people feel safe, strong relationships can grow. How to rebuild broken trust. Now let us talk about something very sensitive, but also very hopeful. What happens after trust is broken? Is everything finished? Can trust return again? The answer is not simple, but there is hope. In many situations, trust can be rebuilt. However, rebuilding trust requires maturity, patience, and real effort. It does not happen quickly, and it does not happen with words alone. The first and most important step is a real apology. A real apology is not just saying, "Sorry." It is deeper than that. A sincere apology includes responsibility. It means saying, "I made a mistake. I understand how I hurt you." A real apology does not blame the other person. It does not say, "I am sorry if you felt bad." That kind of sentence avoids responsibility. A true apology clearly accepts the mistake without excuses. When someone apologizes sincerely, it shows emotional maturity. It shows they understand the impact of their actions. This is the first step in rebuilding trust. But apology alone is not enough. The second important step is changing behavior, not only words. Many people say beautiful words after breaking trust. They promise that everything will be different. But if their actions stay the same, trust cannot return. Trust grows from behavior. If someone lied before, they must now practice honesty consistently. If someone broke promises, they must now keep their commitments carefully. Change must be visible and consistent. Rebuilding trust also requires time. Time is very important. After trust is broken, emotions are strong. The hurt person may feel anger, sadness, or fear. Even if they want to forgive, their heart needs time to feel safe again. This is normal. You cannot rush healing. Just like a physical wound needs time to heal, emotional wounds also need time. Sometimes the person who made the mistake feels impatient. They may say, "I already said sorry. Why are you still upset?" But rebuilding trust is not about one moment. It is about creating new positive experiences again and again. Patience shows seriousness. When someone remains consistent over time, slowly the broken trust begins to repair. Forgiveness is another important part of this process. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting what happened. It does not mean saying the action was okay. Forgiveness means choosing not to live with constant anger. It means giving space for improvement. But forgiveness takes patience. It cannot be forced. The hurt person needs to feel ready. It is also important to understand that rebuilding trust requires effort from both sides. The person who broke the trust must show change and responsibility. The hurt person must be open to seeing that change. If one side refuses completely, rebuilding becomes very difficult. Let us imagine a simple situation. A friend lies about something important. Later, they admit the truth and apologize sincerely. They say, "I was afraid, and I made a bad choice." After that, they begin to act differently. They communicate more openly. They answer questions honestly. They keep their promises. Slowly, over months, the friendship begins to feel safe again. The pain does not disappear immediately, but positive actions slowly rebuild connection. However, we must also accept something realistic. Sometimes trust cannot return fully. Sometimes the damage is too deep. Or sometimes the same mistake happens again. In those situations, it is okay to step back. It is okay to protect yourself. Forgiving someone does not mean you must continue the relationship in the same way. You can forgive and still choose distance. This understanding is part of maturity. Life is not always perfect. Some relationships become stronger after problems. Others change form. Not every broken connection can be fully repaired. And that is okay. It does not mean you failed. It means you learned. Rebuilding trust also teaches important lessons. It teaches humility. It teaches responsibility. It teaches patience. When someone works hard to rebuild trust, they often become a better person. When someone chooses to forgive wisely, they often become emotionally stronger. If you are the one who broke trust, remember this. Do not focus only on asking for forgiveness. Focus on becoming trustworthy again. Let your actions speak daily. If you are the one who was hurt, remember this. You have the right to take your time. Healing is not weakness, it is strength. Now take a moment to reflect. Have you ever rebuilt trust with someone? Or are you trying to rebuild it now? Say in simple English, "Trust takes time." Repeat it. Then say, "Change is more powerful than words." Feel these sentences. Rebuilding broken trust is not easy, but it is possible in many cases. It requires real apology, visible change, patience, and understanding. And sometimes it also requires accepting that not everything can return to the way it was. But even in those situations, there is growth, there is learning, and there is strength. Trust may break, but with maturity and effort, hope can still exist. Reflection questions. Now I want us to slow down a little and move into a very important part of this episode. This is your reflection time. Listening is good, but speaking is even more powerful. If you want to improve your English, you must use your voice. And if you want to grow as a person, you must ask yourself honest questions. So in this part, I will ask you some simple but deep questions. I want you to pause the audio after each one and speak your answer out loud. Let us begin with a very personal question. Do you trust yourself? Think carefully. When you make decisions, do you believe in your choices? When you start something new, do you believe you can finish it? Or do you doubt yourself most of the time? Pause for a moment and answer in simple English. You can say, "Yes, I trust myself in some situations." Or, "No, I often doubt myself." Try to explain why. The goal is not perfect grammar. The goal is honest speaking. Now let us go to the next question. Who do you trust the most in your life? It can be a friend, a parent, a partner, a teacher, or maybe even yourself. Say the person's role, not necessarily their name. For example, I trust my mother the most because she always supports me. Or, I trust my best friend because he keeps my secrets. Explain your reason. Why do you trust this person? Is it because they are honest? Is it because they are consistent? Is it because they listen to you? Pause now and speak for at least 1 minute. The next question may feel uncomfortable, but it is very important for growth. Have you ever broken someone's trust? Be honest with yourself. Maybe it was a small promise you did not keep. Maybe you shared something private. Maybe you lied because you were afraid. Say it clearly. For example, yes, I broke someone's trust when I did not tell the truth. Or, I disappointed someone because I did not keep my promise. Speaking about your mistakes is not weakness. It shows maturity. Now ask yourself the final question. What did you learn from that experience? Did you learn to be more honest? Did you learn to think before speaking? Did you learn how painful broken trust can be? Try to answer in full sentences. You can say, I learned that trust is fragile. Or, I learned that small lies can create big problems. Pause again and speak slowly and clearly. As you answer these questions, do not rush. Take your time. Think in English. Even if you make mistakes, continue speaking. Remember, this is Code Your English. You are training your mind and your voice at the same time. Reflection helps your heart grow. Speaking helps your English grow. Sometimes the most powerful lessons come when we are honest with ourselves. When you reflect on trust, you understand your values better. You understand what you expect from others, and you understand what kind of person you want to become. So take a deep breath now. Pause this episode. Answer each question aloud. Speak clearly. Speak honestly. And allow yourself to grow, both in language and in life. Now, as we reach the final part of this episode, let us take a moment to reflect deeply and end with calm and clarity. Throughout today's conversation, we explored the meaning of trust, why it is so important, how it can be broken, and even how to rebuild it. Trust is not a small thing. It touches everything in life: our friendships, our family, our work, and even our relationship with ourselves. It is invisible, but its presence is powerful, and its absence is painful. Understanding trust fully is one of the most important lessons in life. First, remember that trust is not built in one day. It grows slowly, step by step, through repeated actions and honest intentions. Every promise you keep, every kind word you speak, every action that matches your values adds a small piece to the foundation of trust. Just as a tree grows slowly from a small seed into something strong and tall, trust grows through consistent care and attention. There is no shortcut. There is no magic formula. Patience is required. And even when the growth is slow, every small step matters. Trust is also fragile. It can break in a single moment if we are careless with our words or actions. A lie, a broken promise, or thoughtless behavior can create cracks that take months or even years to repair. The fragility of trust is not a weakness. It is a reminder of its value. When we know something is fragile, we treat it with more care. Similarly, when we understand how delicate trust is, we begin to protect it in every interaction we have, consciously and intentionally. Despite its fragility, trust is also incredibly beautiful. Life without trust is stressful, cold, and lonely. When trust exists, life feels safer and calmer. Relationships deepen. Communication becomes easier. Love grows. Cooperation becomes natural. You feel peace when someone keeps their promises. You feel happiness when someone respects your boundaries. You feel strength when you trust yourself to make the right decisions. Trust transforms ordinary connections into meaningful and supportive bonds. It is like a bridge that connects hearts, minds, and souls, allowing understanding, respect, and care to flow freely. Building trust, protecting it, and even repairing it are all acts of courage. It takes courage to be honest, even when it is uncomfortable. It takes courage to admit mistakes. It takes courage to give someone another chance. And it takes courage to trust yourself enough to speak your truth, follow your path, and make decisions confidently. Courage and trust are deeply connected because both require us to face uncertainty with faith. Faith in ourselves, faith in others, and faith in the possibility of connection. As we end this episode, take a moment to reflect quietly. Think about the relationships in your life. Which ones are strong because of trust? Which ones need more attention, more patience, or more honesty? Think about yourself. Do you trust your own choices? Do you respect your own boundaries? Do you keep promises to yourself as carefully as you keep them for others? Small reflections like these, repeated daily, help you become a person who understands trust deeply and lives it fully. Finally, carry this message with you. Trust is slow. Trust is fragile, but trust is everything. Protect it in your words, in your actions, and in your heart. Build it patiently, step by step. And when you do, you become someone people feel safe with. Someone whose presence brings calm, security, and confidence. Someone whose words and actions are reliable, whose honesty is evident, and whose care is sincere. Trust is the invisible foundation of a beautiful life, and it is always worth the effort. So remember these final words carefully, slowly, and with intention. Protect trust. Build trust. Become someone people feel safe with. This is the essence of life, the essence of connection, and the essence of meaningful relationships. Trust is everything, and it starts with you. Now, I want to take a moment to thank you warmly for spending your time with me here on Code Your English. Your decision to listen, reflect, and practice is already a big step toward improving your English and understanding important life lessons like trust. Every minute you spend listening and speaking aloud matters. It is your effort, your curiosity, and your willingness to practice that will make the biggest difference in your learning journey. So, thank you for being here and being willing to grow. Before we close, I want to gently remind you to practice what we discussed today. Trust is a topic that is not only for thinking, but also for speaking. Try to say some of the sentences aloud. I trust myself. I want to protect trust in my relationships. I will be honest and consistent. Speaking these sentences clearly helps your English improve, and at the same time, it strengthens the ideas in your mind. Repeating them aloud also trains your pronunciation, confidence, and rhythm in English. Small daily practice makes a big difference, especially when you combine listening, thinking, and speaking together. I also want to invite you to share your thoughts if you feel comfortable. You can reflect on the questions we asked earlier, or simply think about how you understand trust in your life. You could write down one sentence about someone you trust, or a small action you want to take to rebuild trust in yourself or others. Sharing your thoughts, even in simple words, is another way to practice English. When you put your ideas into words, your mind starts connecting language and understanding at the same time. Finally, If you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful, I would love for you to stay connected with Code Your English. You can do this softly and gently by subscribing to the channel. Subscribing means you will not miss future episodes where we practice English together, learn useful life lessons, and grow step by step. You do not need to do anything complicated. Just click subscribe and continue your learning journey at your own pace. Every episode is designed to be simple, easy to follow, and supportive, so you can practice English naturally while improving your listening, speaking, and understanding. Remember, this is a friendly space for learning, reflection, and growth. You are not alone in your journey. Take your time, repeat aloud, think deeply, and let your English improve one step at a time. Thank you again for listening, for practicing, and for trusting yourself to learn something new today. Keep speaking, keep reflecting, and keep growing. Your voice matters, your effort matters, and your journey matters. So once more, softly and calmly, keep practicing. Speak clearly. Share your thoughts. And subscribe to Code Your English to continue learning with us. Your next step in English and personal growth is just a small action away.